Hi all, we're back, and what I'm going to do today is we're going to have a quick look at setting up comments in Python, setting up a comment header, a quick look at types and variables, maybe the simple I/O in this video. It makes a really big difference to understand how to make a comment, commenting your code correctly, understanding the types of things that can be, so what type of input you received and what you're working with, how to name variables and how to use them, and how to get in things in and out. So I/O is in and out. So let's start with I've opened up Python. So I've opened up idle and I've got it running here. My Python shell is running, which is essentially a console. And I'm going to say File and New. So I have a brand new program here to play with. And I'm going to save this. So File, Save As. I'm going to go onto my desktop because that's where I have stuff stored for the summer in the Python class and my Python programs. Make a new folder, and this is module 1. I can type writing. Comments. And I'm going to create. So I'm going to name this my comments, gurneyl.py. Note that I did .py. And I know exactly what this program is going to do. It's going to be comments, it's going to be from me, and it is my Python file. So I'm going to let this sit. Now I'm going to switch over to this text document I have. And I've done this up ahead of time so you don't have to watch me type everything, which is kind of boring. But I do want you to notice that I'm dealing with the author is me. The course I'm in, MI 499I, which is the Introduction to Python Programming. I have the school is Husson University. I've got the professor is Laura Gurney. Program is Hello World. Well, I'm actually going to change that because it's not Hello World, it's comments. Language is Python 3.1, and my description is this program will display. So this program will explore using comments and data types. We may do some extra stuff, and then we can come in and work with this again. Edit history. Today's date is 5/8 for me. Whatever your date is, put that in here. This is version 1. I'm not saving a copy right now. And my comment is this is the initial writing. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. So edit and copy. I just typed this up in a text editor, which I already had, so I didn't have to type it over again. And I'm going to paste it right into Python. And if you notice, Python's going, whoa, what is that? It turned all green, which means it thinks that's all text. So we've pasted this in, and it comes out as a string. It's very pretty this way, and it's formatted so that it's very readable. But I want it to be comments, and in Python, these are not comments. So let's make it a comment. Python's idle is really nice. So we're just going to highlight all of this, so from the beginning to the end, and I'm going to go to Format, and I'm going to comment out the region. Now, according to Python syntax, quote at the beginning of line is a comment. I mean, not quote, sorry. According to Python syntax, the pound sign at the beginning of the line is a comment. That indicates a line comment, a single line. There are some schools of thought, and Guido van Rossum, who is the creator of Python, has said that if you do single quote, single quote, single quote, and then make a comment, and then single quote, single quote, single quote, it is a comment, but if you notice, idle is not recognizing that. So we're going to go with this comment out. So comment out the region. Comments are extremely important. This lets other people know what you think you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and close my text file that I built that in. And I have that text file saved, and I can open that up just about any time, grab what I want, change what I need to, and paste it into my comments. It's very easy. Essentially, it's just a little snippet in a text file. We don't have code snippets in idle. Otherwise, we could save it into the idle program. I believe Visual Studio will do that for you. So when you take Introduction to Computer Programming, that would be an interesting thing to look at. So we've got our comments in here, and that's nice because now we can say, okay, this is what it is. Everybody knows who wrote it. Oh, guess what? This helps a lot with my grading, so I insist you do this. What course you're in, who made it, why you made it. So I should see you changing the author, changing the program comments, the program name, the description, and when your edit history is. So this is something we're going to expect from now on. How about writing a little program in here now that we've done this? So we only know how to use print so far, and that's just fine. We'll work with that. I've got, let's see, I've got to say print, oh, lowercase. Let's see, can I make that a little larger for you guys to see? All right, so I've gone to preferences, and I'm on Courier right now. It's okay. Standard Python indent is 4 spaces. We'll leave that alone, and later we'll talk about that. Size is 10. Let's take it up to like 14 and apply. Oh, now you probably can see it a whole lot better, so we'll go with that. And you can change different custom settings, new themes, that type of thing. But I'm going to just leave it alone for now, other than just increasing the size. So I've got my lovely size here, and it's working. So I'm going to say print and my quotes. So print, parentheses, quotes, and look, it's hinting to you. So it's saying, if you really want to do this, the format is to say print, which is the function. Functions are pre-set up pieces of code that will perform an action on something you hand it. So inside of the parentheses, you need to give it a parameter or a value to work with. Our value is going to be a string, which is a type. Strings are characters. I hate to say collection because that's actually a thing, but it is a grouping of characters put together and contained by the quote marks. And they are kind of like text, but when I say text, some people go, oh, well, then space is not a text. Well, space in this case is a character and counts. So I can say space, space, Fred, space, space, Angela, space, quote, and parenthesis, save my program, and run it in the module, run my module, and it goes Fred, Angela, and you see the spaces. So it sees those as characters, and it remembers that, hey, you wanted a space character. All right, you got a space character. So strings are specifically characters you type, and you indicate that by using the quotes around it. And the fun part with this, let's say that somebody gives you print, parenthesis, quote, 2, inside quotes. That's a number, right? Well, not exactly. That's now text. It prints out as Fred and then 2. But if you tried to do some math on this, let's say that we want to print quotes, 2 quotes, plus, everybody knows how to add, right? So we got plus 2. Well, I didn't put the second 2 in quotes. So that's still a number, but the first 2 is in quotes, so it's a string. So what do you think we're going to get when you add a character to a number? Well, when we run this, I'm pushing F5 to run it. I go, oh, whoa, 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 no, no, no. Can't do it. So it's saying, let's trace this error. Print string 2 plus number 2. We can't convert this for you. It's either an int object or it's a string, and it's implicitly been looked at. Implicit just means it's going, I'm guessing this is a string, and I'm guessing this is a number. So this isn't going to work this way. So making sure you understand what type you have is very important. You could say that we're going to add 2 text. So I've got print 2 in parentheses in quotes plus 2 in quotes. That's 2 strings. And I run that and I get 22. Why didn't I get the plus sign? The plus sign is an overloaded operator. It means that the plus will do addition, but it will also do concatenation. So we concatenated or shoved 2 things together side by side with no other things between it. And so that's what concatenation is. And there's an old joke of when is 1 plus 1 11? Well, when it's concatenation. So what other types of what other types are there? I was going to say what other types of types are there, and that's how I kind of got weird. What other types are there? We've got numeric types and strings for now. We're going to go with simple, basic ones. There are more complicated ones we'll be introduced to later, but for now we'll deal with strings, and we'll deal with floats and integers. So a float is, and I'm going to make a comment here, so a float is anything with decimals. It's a fraction of a number, so they're floating point numbers, and we just call them floats for short. So 3.4156 or whatever is a float. I'm going to do another comment, so another pound sign, but 3 just by itself, just 3, is an integer. Integer, yeah, I can spell. And we call those ints. So we have floats and ints. So if I say print 3 plus 3, those are two integers. You can perform math on integers. So we'll say print performed math on my integers. That should work. And we'll save that, hit F5, and it did perform math on the integers. I got 6. What if I wanted to see what I had written? I can say print, quotes, 3 plus 3, end quotes, parenthesis, and then say, we'll save it, and we'll run it, and we get, oh, I'm going to pull this up a little bit. We get 3 plus 3. Well, how can I get both? How can I do both of those things? Well, I want 3 plus 3. I'm just going to copy that line and paste it in. And I'd also like to have it, I've copied the line. All right, so I want to be able to do 3 plus 3 and then the value. So I'm going to copy this print 3 plus 3, which is characters or strings. So print 3 plus 3, comma. And now that we've got the comma, we're saying, hey, let's do multiple items in here. Let's print multiple things. So I have a string, and I'm going to separate it from the math I'm going to do. So I'm going to say 3 plus 3, which is an integer. Save and F5 to run it. I get 3 plus 3, 6. Perfect. We can make this a little prettier, but let's go back. In my code, I'm going to go ahead and put a equal sign. I don't know if you can see this really close, but print, parentheses, quotes, 3 plus 3 equals, and then I've got my quotes, my comma, my 3 plus 3 because those are integers, so they're not inside the quotes. Save this again, hit F5, and we have 3 plus 3 equals 6. And that is what we wanted. So math works that way for integers, and that's how you print an integer, is you just don't have the quotes around it. Let's go back to our program, and I'm going to say I'm going to copy my print perform math on integers, and I'm going to say perform math on floats. And I'm going to go copy my print line. Oops, that was not copied. Copy my print line that had my 3 plus 3, and this time I'm going to say 3.52 space plus 3, how about we change it to 5.26. So I put some spaces in there. The text doesn't care. Text does not care. I'm going to take those same numbers, so I'm just going to highlight this in the middle without the quotes. Replace my 3 plus 3 with my floats, so I got 3.52, that is a float, it's got fractions of numbers. And 5.26, again, fractions of numbers. Let's save this and run it. And we get 3.52 plus 5.26 is 8.78. Perform math on my floats. Yay! I'd like to have a break in there. Right here where it says 3 plus 3 equals 6. I'd like to have another, I just need a little line in there, like somebody hit an enter would be nice. So go back to your program, and where it says print 3 plus 3 equals, and then we have our 3 plus 3 math, I'm going to do another comma. So we're adding stuff in. Actually, add stuff in. So we add a comma, and then we do quote, backslash n, and that means new line. So let's see how that works. Now we have a nice break there. That's called an escape sequence. And escape sequences allow us to do tabs, enters, print things that normally would not print because they're part of the string, so the string sees a quote as something special. So if you wanted an extra quote to print, So escape sequences, if you check in the book, there's a nice little, there's a nice chart in the book, so you can check out escape sequences, and those will be important for you to check out. They make it very nice to be able to control how your information prints out in your program. So at this point we have the text string, so that we've got strings, which are characters. We have numbers as characters, we have numbers as floats, and we have numbers as integers. And let's try printing out 3.545 plus 3. So you can add floats and integers together. We'll save that and run it, hit F5, and we've got 6.45. So that is adding two different types together, which is just fine. Let's say we want to add a large number. All you'd have to do is put that large number in here, and it will repeat it out to the screen. So in this program, we took a really quick look at, we've looked at strings, we've looked at types. So we've looked at types, string, integer, or int, and float. And that's a very important thing to check out. We've also looked at, escape sequences. I expect you to go into the book and take a good look at what the escape sequences are and how to use them. And we looked at performing addition. I will talk to you guys more about types and variables and simple input and output later. So check with me again and watch the next video.